When you throw something, why does it fall to the ground and eventually stop moving? When you throw something and you're standing somewhere on Earth, the reason it falls is gravity. Gravity is the force that every object has for every other object. The larger the mass of an object, the larger the pull of gravity. On Earth, the planet itself has the most gravity. This is why when you throw something, it falls towards the planet. The reason the ball eventually stops moving is because of friction. Once thrown, the friction from the air slows the ball while gravity pulls the ball down. Once the ball hits the ground, the friction from both the air as well as the surface of the ground slow the ball until it stops.
It'll bounce. It'll go in the air.
It'll go in the air, and after it goes in the air, what'll happen?
Someone might catch it. It will fall on the floor.
It'll probably bounce off a wall, or it will roll, or just keep bouncing.
It's kind of hard. It's not really heavy, it's light. Because of gravity's pushing it down.
Okay. And what do you mean by gravity?
The air. Because we have no gravity.
Because gravity is pulling it down.
Okay, and what do you mean by gravity?
Gravity keeps us down so we don't float away.
Turns out, 3 out of 4 students know about gravity, although only the last one got it exactly correct, that gravity is pulling the ball down.
So pretend it's like a person, it's really tired, like bouncing up and down, like on I forgot. Because gravity keeps on pushing it down and down so it stops. Because it didn't have enough force to keep on rolling.
Because you put force on it and friction stops the ball.
The first 2 students allude to the fact that the ball stops because it runs out of energy, while the third student says it's because gravity is pushing the ball down until it stops. Each of these 3 students is leaning in the right direction but not quite hitting the mark. The fourth student gets it right. The ball stops because friction slows the ball down until it stops moving.
No. If you threw it in space, it would never stop. It would stay up there. It would float.
It would stay up in space?
I don't really know.
You don't really know?
I think it would still be the same. Probably stay the same speed. Slower.
Slower.
Because on Earth, it has lots of air and stuff. Because space has no gravity, and the Earth does have gravity. Because in space they have gravity, and here we don't.
Because there's no gravity up in space, and space just makes things float pretty much.
Most of the students we interviewed understand that gravity is the reason that a ball falls to the ground. However, only 1 out of 4 of our interviewees answered friction as the reason a ball stops moving.
The questions about space serve as a foil to the central questions. Space is essentially the exact opposite of Earth in terms of this question. On Earth, there is friction and gravity, therefore a thrown ball falls and stops. In space, there is no friction and no gravity, therefore it floats and continues moving indefinitely. A student who answers all of our questions correctly would therefore demonstrate an understanding of both concepts. All the students provided at least 1 correct answer. However, none answered all of our questions correctly.
Our conclusion is that these students all demonstrated some understanding of gravity, and 1 showed some understanding of friction. However, the space questions reveal that the students did not have a full understanding of the relationship between gravity and friction, or their effects on real objects in space and on Earth.
For the first round of practice interviews, the central question was, why does a ball fall to the ground and eventually stop moving? In response, all of the students mentioned gravity. However, none mentioned friction. Due to this, we split the question into two parts, in order to give the students a chance to think of each part of the question separately.
The students' answers may have been different had we used a different type of ball. If we redid the interviews, we would use a non-bouncy ball for the let's try it portion, in order to give the students an opportunity to actively observe friction before answering the central questions.